cute. Cute enough to eat. Oh, hey everybody! Candy corn, anyone? I love Halloween! And this is the first little installation in our fall Halloween series. I made this cute little amigurumi candy corn with a couple purposes in mind. This is the half double crochet stitch. Also has a little bit of single crochet in it, so if you're unsure of either of those two stitches, check out the tutorials. I'll link them below. But I thought that this would be a great little pattern to teach you trick or treating with, because there's a lot of tricks in this. You can't always follow a pattern perfectly because your own stitch work is different than everybody else's. So in this tutorial, I am going to show you how to cheat your way into making a proper shape, one that you can stuff without any holes, and basically how to put something together without necessarily following all the rules, because I love that. So are you ready? Let's make ourselves some sweet treats. This piece is made in the round, so we're going to start at the top and work our way down. We're going to start with a cinch circle, and if you're unfamiliar with the cinch circle, check out the tutorial and I'll link that down below. And this is a reminder, this is a half double crochet stitch we're using, so you can practice your half double crochet, and if you're unsure of that, you can check out the half double crochet tutorial, and I'll post that down below as well. So we're going to start with a cinch circle. And because we're half double crocheting, we have to chain 1, 2 into that circle. And it's going to look like that. Now, we are going to start with 6, and we are going to ignore this chain 2. So we're not going to treat the chain 2 as a half double crochet. We're just going to go ahead and half double crochet 6 into this circle. Remember, you wrap, you work the stitch, or in this case the hole or the circle, grab your yarn and pull up a loop. You've got 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook, wrap, go through all 3, and that's a half double crochet stitch. And we're going to put in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Grab your little tail, cinch shut your circle. Now we're going to ignore the chain 2. See that little 1, 2? We're going to ignore that. Normally you would work into the top of that little chain 2 stitch if you were going to treat it as a stitch, but we're going to ignore it. Instead, we're going to slip stitch directly into that actual stitch, and I'm just going to continue working over my tail. And you've got the top of your little candy corn. We're going to chain 2 to start our second row. 1, 2. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and what looks like 7 stitches all the way around. Even though we put in 6 half double crochet, you're always going to end up with sort of what we call a false stitch. Because we're making a stuffed toy and we don't want holes to show up, we're going to actually use the fake stitches. But in order to keep our numbers accurate, we're going to have to do what I like to call cheating. So just follow along with me. So we've chained up 2, and into the very next stitch we're going to half double crochet 1, and half double crochet into the next stitch, 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. So we've got a total of 4 because we're not including that chain 2. Half double crochet into the next stitch, half into the next stitch, and 1 more into that same stitch, half into the next stitch, and a half double crochet into what looks like that last or fake stitch. And you're going to skip the chain 2 again. You see that chain 2? I got a little bit of glare here, and you're going to go directly into the top of that real stitch. If you can get your hook in there. There we go. So now we're starting to create a bit of a cone-shaped top. we're going to continue to increase, excuse me, chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to half double crochet into the very next little space, which is technically the joining stitch, because we're not treating the chain 2 as an actual stitch. So that's ignore 1, 2, 3, 2 half double crochets into this stitch, 1, 2, half double crochet once into each of the next 2 stitches, half double crochet twice into the next stitch, and half double crochet into the next 2 stitches, and once into that last or fake stitch. And this is going to kind of even up the fact that we don't have an exact, because we're using the fake stitches, because we want to close in all of our holes so that we don't have stuffing poking through. That kind of acts like putting in all these extra stitches here, or using the fake stitch, allows us to not double up on a single stitch. So in other words, I'm not putting 2 half double crochets into a single stitch, I'm just using the fake stitch in lieu of that. And ignore the chain 2 and slip stitch into the top of that proper stitch. And that is the top, the little nose cone of our candy corn. So now we're going to fasten off white. This is also a bit of a color change tutorial. Just snip it, you don't need a whole lot. Just pull that tail right through, give it a nice tug. There you go. And we're done with the white. Next color is the orange. Now, you're going to make a slip knot, and if you're unsure of that, you can check out the slip knot tutorial. You're going to join it in the stitch right next to where you made your knot. So there's your knot, and you're going to join it in the stitch right next to that. And you're just going to join it with a slip stitch. So in other words, I like to work over all my tails. You're going to pull a loop right through the stitch and then through the other loop on your hook, and you're just going to affix it with a slip stitch. We're going to chain 2 to start. We are going to half double crochet into that same stitch that we joined in, because we're going to ignore that stitch, and we're going to put one right up against the back of it. So this is kind of like the doubling up here. So just ignore that chain 2. We're going to half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. 1, 2, half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, and half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. 2, 3. Now you're going to come back up to that spot where you knotted your work. We're going to put a stitch in here. This is sort of a fake stitch, but you know what? It's going to be a gap, and because we don't want gaps, because we're stuffing this toy, we're going to put a stitch right in underneath that knot. Skip the chain 2 and slip stitch into the true stitch at the top there. And you see we're getting a really nice cone shaped little top here. We're going to continue to chain 2 to start, half double crochet into the same stitch, and repeat this enlarging pattern all the way around. So this is going to be into the next 4. You half double crochet once into the next 4. 3, 4, half double crochet twice into this next stitch here, half double crochet into the next 4, half double crochet twice into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next 4, and we're coming up on that fake stitch, and because we want to close in the hole, we're going to use that fake stitch, and we're going to skip the chain 2 and slip stitch into the top of that true stitch at the top there. There we go. And see, our nice little cone continues. We're going to do another row of orange, so chain 2, half double crochet in the same stitch that you joined in, because you are going to ignore your half double crochet, or you're going to ignore your chain 2. Half double crochet into the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. Half double crochet into the next 5. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's just pouring outside. I love weather like that. Definitely makes me want to curl up and crochet. 2 more half double crochet into the next stitch. Half double crochet into the next 5. And you're going to half double crochet into that last fake stitch, because you don't want a hole. Skip the chain 2 and slip stitch into the top of that fake, or I should say the true stitch up top. Now we're going to snip our yarn, fasten off, and join your yellow. We're going to do one more row of increase with the yellow. Let's see if I can find my end here. So we're going to start with a slip knot. We're going to attach it just in front of where you knotted off, so this stitch right here. And I like to work over top. There we go. Chain 2. Half double crochet in the same stitch that you joined in, and half double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and you see I'm working over all of the little tails because I just like to work them in as I go. 4, 5, and 6. 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. 1, 2, half double crochet into the next 6 stitches. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to half double crochet into the last 6 stitches plus the fake stitch at the end of this row. And that completes our increase rows. Remember to skip the chain 2 and slip stitch into the top of that true stitch. Now we're going to do 2 more rows in yellow, but just single crocheting, or I should say just half double crocheting into each stitch around. But you're going to continue to ignore the chain 2 and put one directly into the same stitch that you joined in, and also to put one in at the end and that fake stitch, because you don't want any holes, and it's okay if this little guy continues to look more conical. This is why I say this is a great tutorial on how to cheat amigurumi, because you don't want holes in your little toys so that stuffing can come out. And when you're working to get an overall particular shape, you just have to understand that it's the overall shape you're going for. And if you have to make little cheats here and there, well, that's what you do. Remember to slip stitch into the top of that true stitch, chain 2, and do one more row all the way around of regular half double crochet into every single stitch, including the fake stitch at the end. Alright, once you get around the end of your last row and you slip stitch to finish off at the top of that true stitch, just snip your yarn, fasten off. Now here is another part of the cheating process. See, this just totally looks like a candy corn, right? Right. Now we're going to count how many actual stitches we wound up with at the bottom here, because we're going to make a bottom to match, and that way you won't have any trouble sewing a bottom on. So let's see here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Alright, so I have a bottom row of 26, which means that I can do a ever-increasing circle that will end up with either 25 and I can add an extra one, or 24 and I can add an extra 2. So for simplicity's sake, I think, because I'm using half double crochet, I want to do the least amount of rows possible because I don't want this to be a giant circle. So I'm going to start with a cinch circle in yellow, and I'm going to half double crochet 8 into it, because 8 times 3 is 24, and I can just stick in an extra couple of half double crochets. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Cinch that baby shut. Going to slip stitch into the top of the real stitch, ignoring the chain 2 to join. I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to half double crochet twice into every stitch around, but I'm going to skip one of them because I'm going to use the fake stitch, remember. So, but you know what, if you get all confused, don't worry about it, just count. All you want to do basically is wind up with 26 stitches. Or if you end up with 25 or 27, it doesn't matter because you're just going to sew it to the bottom of your little cone here. And this is all about how to cheat. Nobody's going to notice, trust me, once it's finished, because that's the beauty of crochet. So the other thing we're going to do when we get to the end of this row is sort of plunk it inside the bottom of our cone and decide how much we like the size of it. I'm going to put one extra in here. Look at me, I'm cheating already. Okay, I'm just going to join. Now, what does that look like? Ooh, look at that, it's pretty close. So you know what? I'm not going to do an extra row of half double crochet. Here's another cheat. I'm going to do a row of single crochet because single crochet is smaller. Let me just count quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Well, 17 if I skip that. If I treat that as a stitch, I've got 18. So, right. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to single crochet now into that first stitch and into the next. I'm going to do 2 into the next stitch and resume my regular increasing row from here. 1 into the next, 2 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 into the next, 2 into the next stitch, 1 into the next, 2 into the next stitch, 1 into the next, 2 into the next stitch, 1 into the next, 2 into the next stitch, 1 into the next, 2 into the next stitch, 1 into the next, 2 into the next stitch, and 1 into what's that fake sort of weird looking last stitch. And I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And you know what? I'm not even going to bother counting. I'm just going to see if it fits. And I think it's going to fit just fine because I'm going to sew it to make it fit. Because this is all about cheating. So I'm going to cut a long tail because I'm going to use this tail to sew it to the bottom of my amigurumi. And I'm just going to fasten that off. There we go. So now we've got our cone, we've got our bottom. This is looking adorable already. And now he just needs a face and some stuffing. Okay, I've just sewn a really basic little face on him, just a couple of French knots for eyes and a little quick embroidered mouth. You obviously can make the face as detailed or as simple as you want, but this isn't so much about the face, this tutorial, it's about cheating in half double crochet. So we're going to take our bottom and we're going to thread up our needle with that nice long tail, and I'm just sort of like to match up my edges. So where I completely tied off here, I'm just going to tuck that tail in. I'm going to put the same sort of tie off area right next to it and run my first stitch through that same place, and then I'm just going to match stitches all the way around. And when I get back to the end, if I'm one short or I'm one extra, I will just cheat it. Alright, so we're getting close to the end, and it looks like this is going to match up pretty nicely. So I'm just going to continue matching up all the stitches that I've got, and it looks like I've got one extra stitch on top. Actually, maybe not even. There's just a tiny wee gap here, so I'm just gonna like stick a stitch in there anywhere I can make it fit. There we go. Ha ha ha. And I'm gonna knot off. I'm just gonna put a tiny little knot on the bottom so it's not that visible. One little, oops, come here. One little knot. And then I'm going to weave my tail in. I'll stick it down through a few stitches. There we go. And I'll just stick the rest of it in here. There. One super adorable amigurumi candy corn. It's almost cute enough to eat. What a neat way to teach you a little trick of the trade. I'm going to make a whole bowl full and park them next to the front door on Halloween night. We've got a few other little Halloween-y tricks of the trade coming shortly. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll notice that I posted a picture of a cute little black cat a little while ago, and he's coming shortly too. So stay tuned, everybody. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and as always, thank you so very much for tuning in. We really appreciate it, and we love your happy comments too. We will see you again really soon on the Jayda InStitches show, and we'll stitch up something else together. Bye, everybody!